I would be very happy if you click on the subscribe button and share this video. Thank you. One rainy evening, seeking refuge from the downpour, I stumbled upon an antiquated store that seemed frozen in time. The creaking floorboards and the flickering light bulbs created an atmosphere straight out of a horror movie. Amidst the dusty artifacts, my eyes fixated on an old portrait of a woman with an intense gaze that seemed to pierce through the canvas. The beauty of the painting, coupled with an unexplained fascination, led me to purchase it. Little did I know that my decision would unravel a haunting tale. That night, as the storm raged outside, I lay in bed, the rhythmic tapping of raindrops on the window creating a lullaby. It was then that I heard a soft whisper, barely audible above the rain. Turning to the portrait, I found the woman's eyes no longer fixed in a distant stare. Instead, they locked onto mine with an unsettling intensity. Frozen in fear, I watched as the figure in the painting stepped out of its frame, gracefully crossing the room. Each step echoed like a distant heartbeat, resonating with an otherworldly energy. As she approached, her appearance shifted, revealing a spectral figure with a pallid complexion and a flowing, tattered gown. A cold chill enveloped the room, and I could feel the weight of an unseen presence. The ghostly woman spoke, her voice carrying a lamentation. "You took me from my resting place." Paralyzed, I could only listen as she recounted a tale of a tragic past, a life disrupted by the hands of those who sought to possess her portrait. The room plunged into darkness, and her ghostly figure disappeared, leaving behind an indelible sense of dread. Morning arrived with a facade of normalcy. The portrait, once animated, reverted to its original state. Yet the memory of that spectral encounter lingered, the constant reminder that some artifacts carry more than just aesthetic value. They bear the weight of untold stories, and disturbing their slumber may invite a haunting presence into one's life. From that night forward, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, a ghostly gaze that persisted even in the light of day. In the quiet suburbs, I moved into a charming house that hid a melancholic secret. Locals spoke of a child who had gone missing many years ago, and whispers lingered about the faint cries of a little girl that could still be heard in the night. Intrigued by the mystery, I delved into the house's history. One rainy afternoon, while exploring the dusty attic, my eyes fell upon an old, forgotten music box. Its exterior was adorned with delicate patterns, and as I wound it up, a haunting melody filled the air. Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and a translucent figure materialized before me, a little girl in a tattered dress, tears streaming down her ethereal face. Her voice was soft and filled with sorrow as she pleaded, "Help me find my way home." Determined to assist, I followed her through narrow corridors and hidden passages, the air growing colder with every step. The house seemed to come alive with the echoes of a tragic past. Guided by the ghostly child, we reached the backyard. As I expected her to lead me further, she simply vanished, leaving behind a weathered gravestone I hadn't noticed before. The inscription matched the name of the missing child from the town's sorrowful tale. The music box fell silent, and the cries in the night ceased. The lost child found her peace, but the weight of the encounter lingered within the walls of the house. The ethereal presence had vanished, yet the memory of that night haunted my dreams. The once disturbing cries were replaced by an eerie quiet, a testament to the unseen forces that can bind the living to the stories of the departed. Inheriting an old family estate, I soon learned about a peculiar family heirloom, a mirror with a mysterious reputation. Stories whispered through the generations hinted at a curse that lingered within its reflective surface. Skeptical but intrigued, I decided to keep the mirror in my bedroom, dismissing the warnings as mere folklore. One restless night, as the clock struck midnight, I caught sight of movement in the mirror. At first, I assumed it was a trick of the dim light. But as I stared, a shadowy figure materialized just beyond my own reflection. A shiver ran down my spine as I watched the figure take shape, a ghostly duplicate of myself. In a trance, I reached out to touch the glass, and to my horror, the ghostly doppelganger reciprocated, its cold hand pressing against mine from the other side. The room grew colder, and the mirror began to crack, each fracture emitting an unsettling sound that echoed through the silence of the night. As the cracks spread, the ghostly figure whispered, "You can't escape what's always with you." Panic set in, and in a moment of desperation, I smashed the mirror into pieces. For a fleeting second, relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. To my astonishment, the shards of glass began to reform, taking on the sinister silhouette of the ghostly figure. From that night forward, every reflective surface became a haunting reminder of the supernatural forces tied to the cursed mirror. Whether it was a puddle on the street or the screen of my phone, the ghostly image lurked, a constant presence in my own reflection. The once familiar act of catching my own gaze became an unnerving experience, as the ghostly figure seemed to mock my every move. The mirror had become a portal to a realm where the line between reality and the supernatural blurred, leaving me with an inescapable and unsettling companion, a ghostly reflection that persisted, even when the cursed mirror was long gone.